Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to shortly talk about the presentation I just gave. The topic of the presentation was integration and automation, email security 2.0. Basically, the point I was trying to convey was that today integration and automation is a very hot topic for web hosting providers, and it's a wagon that they need to jump on. Integration and automation basically will allow the web host to fully automate any processes in their organization, which allows them to scale and focus on their growth of their own company, build extra revenue streams from their existing clients, attract new clients, and all of that. So basically I did that by explaining about our solution, our email security solutions, incoming filtering, outbound filtering, and email archiving, and how SpamAssassin basically was founded with the idea of where hosting providers should be the one-stop shop for end clients, and then basically tailor our products to fit their needs and allow them to fully integrate our solution with their backend, automatically provision our solution to the end client, and start making extra revenue from this. Yeah, and this was basically the topic of today. I'm going to talk about, as it says, integration and automation. But also, actually, integration and automation for hosting companies and service providers is eventually leading to what is the most important thing for you guys to do: scale up and grow. That is, I guess, the end message that I'm trying to convey here, that through automation and integration, you can manage to automate your business in such a way that it's easy for you to scale, easy for you to grow. Let's see. Is this thing working? Yes. All right. As you can see, the presentation is not a typical bullet point list. The reason for that is that I will basically go back and forth amongst these points. So email security 2.0 is a central point. Of course, our marketing team wanted me to talk to you guys about our solutions also. So I will introduce SpamAssassin, I will introduce our products, and I'll try to basically use our products as an example for how you guys can integrate different services to your product offering, automate that with your current infrastructure, and basically thereby grow your business, grow your revenue, reduce costs, and become one of the larger players in the market. I guess that's what all of you want, right? Not too enthusiastic, guys, come on. All right. Well, as it says in the agenda, there will be a couple of opportunities for you to take home, of course, some conclusions. I'm going to run around with this sheet of paper in my hand because I made some notes, and I only got limited time to prepare for the presentation, so every now and then I will, I guess, use my notes. So about SpamAssassin. SpamAssassin is a European-based company. We're based in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam. I was just chatting here with the marketing team about Amsterdam, and I had to ask the guys about what you guys think about when thinking about Amsterdam. So Amsterdam has a mixed reputation, right? I don't know if you guys, yeah, I see some smiles, so I guess there is a bit of, you know what I'm referring to, I guess. Well, Amsterdam is also, and less people know that, Amsterdam is the biggest IT hub in the world in terms of internet, what is it? It's the biggest internet exchange in the world. So there's actually a lot of IT companies based in Amsterdam and the Amsterdam region. So we're quite fortunate to have our offices there. We also have offices abroad, mostly development offices. Today we process every day email for over 60 million inboxes. And what we do, maybe also important to talk about, is email security. Email security, let's see. Yeah. Email security comes basically in three flavors. On the one hand, you have incoming filtering, the filtering of incoming email. Yesterday and this morning, I spoke to quite a lot of you at our booth, and I realized that it's not always equally clear when I'm saying incoming filtering, outgoing filtering, and email archiving. So I'm going to explain them in a little bit more detail. So what we're not doing, and that's also important to realize, we're not sending out mass mailings. We're not the provider for you to basically promote your products, because a lot of you guys came also by the booth and said, okay, spam experts, can you guys send my mailings out? Because we're being blocked by a lot of providers. And I was like, no, that's not what we do. So incoming filtering, it's the protection of spam and viruses that are received on the inboxes for you and your clients. Most of you are basically resellers, I guess, of ResellerClub. The ones I talk to often are using, for example, cPanel as a control panel, and maybe some Plesk system on the side for hosting, for Windows hosting or something. cPanel comes with SpamAssassin as a protection. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, how we compare to SpamAssassin, how we compare to different solutions in the market. But then you at least know what we do. So we're a comparable product in that sense to what SpamAssassin does. We filter the email, the incoming email. On top of that, if you use a professional system like Spam Experts, but there's also other solutions in the market that you definitely want to check out if you think, okay, professional email security is something that I'm interested in. Most of the professional email security providers, they actually offer something called email continuity or fallback MX. This is basically when the destination mail server, so basically your cPanel machine, if that experiences downtime, then the emails normally sent to the machine will be queued temporarily at the email security provider until the cPanel machine is back up and running, and then the email is still being delivered. So that way, no email gets lost, and your clients are basically getting an extra redundancy layer in their incoming email flow. That's incoming filtering. By the way, there's little links here. I don't know if you guys, I'm pointing there because this is my help screen, but you guys will see it there on the sides. There's little links, the little arrows in the balloons. If you guys get the presentation, you can click on it, and they will lead you to one of the slides in the back of the presentation, which gives you a graphical representation on how the email flows through the system. So if you really want to see more technically how it works, or what is it, a graphical representation of the services, they are in the presentation, and I'm not sure if they will get access to the presentations, but then you can review that yourself. Outgoing email filtering. I think that's a very interesting topic for you guys here in India, because 50% of the people coming by the booth were asking, in fact, about solutions there. It seems that a lot of you providers have issues with being blacklisted every now and then. And this is mostly the case because maybe an account on your server got hacked, or someone in your network, some of your clients are sending out spam, and then suddenly your whole cPanel machine is being blacklisted. And that affects all the clients in your cPanel machine, because no one can really send out email anymore. That's a big problem. Plus, in order to get delisted, it costs a lot of time and money from you to deal with all of that hassle. So what you can do is you can filter your outgoing email on spam and viruses. Obviously, then your IP will be safeguarded from being blacklisted, because the spam is not reaching out to the internet anymore. It will stay in the filters. Plus, the outgoing filter creates a report for you, basically, to then take action on. So it will send you a report and say, okay, look, on this machine, this account is sending out spam. Go in and try to fix the problem. Then finally, we have email archiving. This is a very hot topic in Europe and in the United States. I'm sure that will also be a very relevant topic here in India. You can look at it two ways, actually. On the one hand, email archiving is basically a backup of your email. It saves a copy of all your incoming and outgoing email in an encrypted and compressed format. So later, when you think, oh, shit, I lost my email, you can go back in, can search for the email, and can have it redelivered. Or maybe your email server crashes and you lost all your email, you can have everything redelivered. And in Europe, for example, there are many laws which tell the companies that email needs to be treated the same way as postal mail that you receive via the post. So if you get a letter from the tax authority, basically, you need to save that letter 7 years in Europe. I don't know how that is here in India, but it's kind of a bureaucracy down there in Europe. And with the email archiving solution, you basically safeguard the email for 7 years or 10 years, and you can show to your legal entities that request that information, after 7 years that you still have the original message. So those are basically the 3 pillars of what Spam Experts is doing and what we offer to the market. Now it's going to be a long bridge before we are at integration and automation, but we're going there, guys. So bear with me for a second. The 3 services that I just discussed are basically what we offer the market. But how come? Why are we doing what we do, and why are we doing it the way we do it? I'm calling it email security 2.0 because traditionally there are basically 3 services in the market, as you can see. And when we got started back in 2004 with the concept idea. 2005 we launched our original product. It was a completely different product from what we have today. Basically the first 2 years I was still studying and we were kids basically playing around and trying to find our way. And we had an investor, and after 2 years he said, okay, Sam, now you're graduating, you're growing up, we have to make money. Okay, he has a point, of course. So what we did is basically we discontinued our old product. It was an end consumer product. We converted our engines, which are actually working really well in classifying email, we converted it into a server-side product. Now you have a server-side filtering product for classifying email, but then, of course, you need to select a market that you want to focus on. And luckily, our CTO that I founded the company with, he had 2 hosting companies before that. When he was a high school student, he had 2 small hosting companies, but which allowed us to have a nice network in the hosting industry in the Netherlands. And again, the Netherlands is a small country, but when it comes to hosting, I think we're the 5th or 4th biggest country in the world. So it's actually a pretty decently developed industry in the Netherlands. And it was an excellent way for us to discuss with them on how they would have preferred to see email security. And what they told us they have 3 solutions now to choose from. SpamAssassin, for example, an open source solution that you're well aware of, I think. Cloud-based filters, that's professional filtering done in the cloud, where basically the email is sent to the provider, it's being filtered, and the clean email is sent to you. An example, well-known example, is Postini. By the way, Postini in August this year announced, well, Google owns Postini, and Google announced that Postini will be discontinued. So all the Postini users are being moved to the Google Apps platform, which is great for us, because it means a lot of those customers are looking for a new solution these days. And we're doing really well for that. So this is the second option you had. And the third option was appliance solutions like Barracuda. I don't know if you are familiar with that. And by the way, if there's any questions, please feel free to interrupt me. I'm really relaxed on that. So if there's something unclear, if I go too fast, let me know. So yes, I'm going to talk a little bit further about these 3 solutions and how that resulted in what we do today. Also for you to understand that basically maybe what you're doing today is not the optimal way for you to grow as a company. SpamAssassin. SpamAssassin is free, right? It comes with your cPanel machine. But what actually the hosting providers told us when we were starting up, so it's not really that I'm trying to make up things here to make our solution look great. They told us, look, we're spending quite a lot of time maintaining the SpamAssassin product to keep up with the newest trends in the spam filtering world. Also, in order for SpamAssassin to work decently well, they were using RBLs, blacklists, external blacklists. And if you want to do that the legal and correct way, then you have to pay for them, especially the good ones, like SpamHouse, for example. And paying for those feeds tend to be quite costly. Besides that, if you look now in your cPanel machine, if you have I'm assuming cPanel, but it accounts also for all the other machines that you might be using. If you look in the cPanel machine today, then you will see that your CPU usage is averaging between 20 and 40%, purely dedicating to the SpamAssassin SpamAssassin process. So a lot of your resources are actually being consumed by dealing with email in a very inefficient way. Resources you could use for your core business, which is doing hosting and growing your business and making money there. So it's a hidden cost, a cost that you should not ignore. Then, of course, this low-quality filtering, so your clients might still complain to you, which results in support. Support is costly again. Altogether, it's taking you quite some time, and I don't know if you want to deal with this because you want to grow your business, and your business is not SpamAssassin maintenance. Of course, there's also very limited control for the end user, but it comes together with the support question. If you empower your clients in having overview of what is going on with their email, they can go in and they can find the answers themselves for the question. They have a quarantine, they can release a message if they want to release a message, etc. Now, enough about SpamAssassin. About the cloud-based providers like Postini. Postini did a great job in filtering. Basically, any professional email security out there will do a good job in filtering email. So that is not where the difference lies between the different professional solutions. But for you to understand Postini right, you basically change the MX records of a domain name, right? And then the email is flowing to Postini, that's being filtered, and Postini sends it then to where it needs to go. Now, Postini holds a per-user business model. It means that if you have a domain name with 10 users, you're going to pay for 10 users. You guys are service providers and hosting companies. You don't think about users. So you think about the number of domains. You might have 500 domains on your cPanel machine. How can you filter all of those domains in the cPanel machine? Because you want to get rid of the spam problem, right? It's not possible with Postini unless you have very deep pockets and can bear up those costs for your users. So that's not really an option. At the RIP, this is rest in peace because Postini is dead and we like it. Then I can tell a little bit more about it, but it's less relevant. Then the Barracuda option, for example, the appliance option, it was actually the best solution, I think, for service providers that was out there. Because your spam problem would be solved. Relatively a lot less costly than Postini. I mean, a Barracuda appliance depends on how much you want to spend on it. You have an upfront cost to buy an appliance, for those that are not clear on it, it's actually the server, right? You get the server sent to you with pre-installed the filtering software on it. So then what you do is you basically hook that server in your network, change their MAC records again, and then all email flows first through that server before it reaches your cPanel machine. So you solve all the SpamAssassin problems and inefficiencies. There is some decent, control panel. There's a decent control panel with it, so you can empower your clients a little bit. But what is really weird is, again, I'm talking what the service providers told us. What is really weird is that as a host, you tend to have hardware. That's your business. You're selling servers. You're selling virtual servers. You're selling hosting. I mean, you have hardware. You have access to hardware, or you have hardware yourself. So why do you need to pay Barracuda $4,000 for some piece of hardware, which is really not worth $4,000? And then you need an expensive service contract, because what happens if Barracuda machine dies? Then you need a new Barracuda machine. And Barracuda is only going to send you a new one if you buy that service contract with them to have that machine replaced. So that whole concept was not really fitting the mentality, basically, of the service providers, which said, okay, we have the hardware laying around. Why can you not do an installation of your technology on our hardware? You maintain the software part, so that is not our problem anymore. But we just maintain the hardware like we're used to doing. And whenever the hardware breaks, we simply replace it. So that's basically where Email Security 2.0 comes alive. I promise this is the last slide about our solutions, guys, or at least a detailed slide on it. So deployment and management on the left side, you basically see that we deploy in the cloud or on premises. What does it mean? Well, it means that we do have a solution similar like Postini, which is mostly focused on enterprises. If a hospital comes to me and says, look, I want to pay you 20,000 euros if you can get rid of my spam problem, then I'm like, I don't like to say, no, I don't have a solution for you, sir. I like to say, yes, please, we have a solution for you, sir. So this is the cloud product. Only 10% of our revenue comes from this cloud product. 90% of our revenue comes from the local cloud product, we call it. Is what I was just talking about, the installation we do on the hardware of the web host, where you get your private filtering system, basically, running in front of your hosting infrastructure. Now, this private filtering system, the cool thing of it is that it's fully scalable. You can add machines to it according to your own needs. So if your company grows, you can simply add extra machines to the filtering cluster. You can run it virtually. You can put the nodes in different data centers for extra redundancy. So it's a fully scalable and redundant system where you are in charge of the hardware and we take care of the software. Now, SpamAssassin, as I introduced in the beginning, does incoming filtering, outbound filtering, and email archiving, right? It's all got to do with email. And if you compare us to another solution, another company like Barracuda, and I've got a lot of respect for Barracuda because Barracuda is doing awesome. Barracuda sells email security machines, but they also sell firewalls, they sell load balancers. They sell all of these extra products, which they need to maintain, which they need to support, which they need to develop. And I think this is why SpamAssassin has an extra advantage over the other email security providers, because we're so focused. We have weekly update cycles. Weekly, you get fixes, you get new features. If you have an idea about, hey, this is missing in the software, we talk with you, we like to hear about it, and we implement it on our roadmap. So we really constantly develop our products according to what you want. And I think for that reason, and it's really not, I'm not going to go in detail on that, but if you log into our control panel, you'll see 1 million of features, and it's all there because of requests from service providers like yourself. So there's actually a 4-tier control panel with it. You would be the admin then of your private filtering cluster, setting all the global settings that affect all the domains and clients in your system. There's branding options. If you want to resell the system to your clients and you don't want your clients to know that it's SpamAssassin behind it, then you can simply brand it to your own looks and feels. Well, then there's a reseller level, there's a domain level, there's an end user level with tons of little features there. It's multilingual also, and we often get the request, hey, if we enter a new market, I see there's no Finnish in your website. Oh, yeah, well, it comes because we have only very limited customers in Finland. Well, that's no problem. We say, okay, here's the language file. Feel free to translate it. We import it next week. And then suddenly our web interface is also in Finnish. That quick, we'd like to respond to new demands. Well, the queuing thing I discussed already, which is the fallback MX basically. And, well, yeah, whitelist, blacklist, attachment management, those are all features that you would want to have in a professional email security solution. Now, finally, integration and automation, the thing that you probably are sitting here for. Why did SpamAssassin think about integration and automation questions? It was, again, because of the demand from the service providers. So the service providers told us, okay, look, it's great to have your system, and we have our systems, but, you know, if we want to filter a domain name, at the moment, we would have to, you know, add your domain name, add to that the route where the email needs to be sent to after it's done with the filtering. We have to manually switch the MX records. It's still costing us a lot of time. And what we, again, want to do is we want to focus our time on our business and not on maintaining, you know, or adding domains to the spam filter, etc. So what we did is we started developing, and I'm going to go into that in more detail in the next slides, but we started developing plugins for all the major control panels out there. We have a very extensive API with our products. So if you're using some kind of custom control panel, we have example scripts on how you can integrate with your custom control panel. But we're happy to help with that also, and you can do any custom integration yourself. Besides the major control panels, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Open Exchange. They're not representing here, but they're representing on most of the hosting-related, hosting-related forums and events. Open Exchange is basically a web mailer, a webmail system. Well, they do a lot of other things besides mail, but the question we got was, okay, we're using Open Exchange as the end mail platform. We're using SpamAssassin for the filtering. Could you not integrate SpamAssassin in Open Exchange so the clients that are using their mail in Open Exchange could then also, you know, see what happened and what was filtered out, etc. So we did that also. Integration with most of the mail clients. Now, well, there you got a nice little arrow. That is the point of the discussion. That's the topic of the presentation. So, enough about us. How many of you guys actually do hosting? Because I know there is also software developers in the room and people that actually don't do hosting. But could you raise your hand if you do anything with hosting? Yes, most of you, right? And then, as a web host, do you sell anything else besides hosting? I mean, and then hosting, please, I'm not a technical guy, okay? But I include in hosting VPS and dedicated machines and all of that. Do you guys do anything else besides that? Are you reselling other services? And just mention something that you're reselling if you're doing. Cloud backup. Cloud backup, very good point. Anyone else? Emails, okay. No? SSL, I guess, some of you? Yes, in the back? SSL, okay. Well, it's great to see that some of you are reselling. I would have hoped everyone to raise their hands and say, yes, we resell services. And we, you know, I would have loved the massive sound of like SSL, backup, all of these services. Well, there's many examples that you can add to your product portfolio, actually. And we believe, SpamAssassin believes, that that is the future for you. You know, hosting is a commodity market. Everyone does hosting, and if I want hosting, I can go to 1 million companies. But what you want to do is automate your business, first of all, that hosting itself doesn't cost you too much time anymore, and then start adding services to it. You know, if you have a customer, you know how much money it costs you to get a customer in? That is where the majority of your marketing budget goes to. If you spend any on marketing, and you know, it takes time to explain to the customer how to set up the things, etc. So you're spending a lot of resources on one customer. Now, if that customer is a client, how easy is it to cross-sell products? You know, that customer is going to need email or SSL. And why would you waste the opportunity of having this customer buy that somewhere externally? This is very, I would say, 2005, you know, that mentality, if I'm allowed to say that. So what you want to become is the one-stop shop for the small and medium business market. Small and medium business market is the majority of the economy. You as a web host need to work towards becoming that one-stop shop. And what does that mean? It means basically an end client or business comes to you and he can buy any internet-related service from you directly what he needs. I feel it's time to look at my sheets because I don't want to miss out on some of the information that I planned on telling you. Yeah, so basically the one-stop shop thing, it's all aiming to be able to scale, right? If you are planning on doing everything yourself, or if you don't integrate, if you don't automate, you can do that, and especially maybe in India where the cost of labor is not as expensive as in Europe, you can do it by adding staff to your team, and you can grow your team, and you can grow your team, and you can grow your team, but at some point you have quite a large cost base as a company in HR. It would be much more effective, though it might take a little longer in the beginning, to start review all the processes in your organization and automate anything you can. This is how SpamAssassin operates. We automate the shit out of our company. Sorry for my language, but you know, this is the only way we can scale. We can serve a world market with limited people, and I think you would want to do the same thing as a web host. ResellerClub, I checked the website right before the presentation, are offering you guys a variety of products to resell, right? They're doing the website builder thing, they have the SSL, they have the email hosting. So there's all these services that you can already directly buy from the ResellerClub, basically add it to your portfolio and offer it to your clients. But there is also a lot more, and yeah, more on that in a little bit. So about the automation and integration landscape, I don't know if you guys have visited more of these sort of events, but about 1.5 to 2 years ago, every single presentation on these types of events would discuss cloud, and the other half, well, let's say 50% would discuss cloud, and the other half would discuss integration and automation. It becomes such a hype. Everyone talks about it. And also as a result, a lot of suppliers in the market started thinking, okay, well, this hosting market is moving to become this one-stop shop. It's a great opportunity for us as suppliers of this market to basically make sure that our products integrate with your backend, integrate with the platforms that you are using. and make your life as easy as we can, basically, to resell our services, so we don't have to deal with all the end clients anymore, because that is not what we want to do, really. Empower you to resell our services in an easy way to the end market. Now, some of you also, and especially in the US, for example, you have companies that are very sizable. They might host 1 million domains. And they have the philosophy of doing everything themselves. They don't want to rely on external parties because they think, okay, if something goes wrong there, we don't have full control over it. And some are successful, some are not successful. And I do want to spend a minute talking about this because maybe some of you in the room have this philosophy of not outsourcing it and rather doing it yourself. So also there, you do want to start integrating things, right? And in the next slide, I will talk about the different stages that you have to go through or that a typical integration process goes through. So that might be relevant for you. Now, why do you integrate all of this? And I keep on repeating this. It's to distinguish your own product portfolio from competitors in the market. If it's true, but I think you guys are shy, but if it's true that there were only like 6 people offering additional services besides hosting, that means that these 6 people are in a great position because when I asked who does hosting, there were at least 50 hands. So it means that there is 44 companies in this room only that don't offer any additional services. So those 6 that do, they distinguish themselves from the 44 others. Now, on the other hand, if I would have asked who does any reselling of additional service and I would have seen 44 hands, the 6 people that didn't are lagging behind and kind of are forced to do it. So either way, the way you look at it, you're forced to do it. Do it today rather than tomorrow. So you can distinguish yourself. You can reduce costs. I think I covered this topic rather elaborately when I was discussing the SpamAssassin example, but this holds true for many different services besides spam filtering also. So if you don't integrate and automate additional services, it means that you're probably dealing with it yourself at the moment, and you're spending a lot of time on it. And that's time not spent on growing your business. And I guess that's what you guys want to do, and that's why you are in this business. You love hosting, you want to grow your business, so spend your time on that, and don't waste your time on all the other services. That's the reducing of cost part. And very much related to that is growing revenue. By adding additional services to your portfolio, you can make more money on the one customer that you already have. You reduce the churn rate. The churn rate is basically how quickly people leave your company again, because people are more satisfied about your services. So the value per customer goes up. And you attract new customers, very importantly. Customers that are now with a web host that doesn't offer all those services, and think, okay, well, maybe web hosting is a little bit more expensive with this alternative, but this alternative at least is offering me all these extra services. So yeah, I'll pay a couple of rubles a month more for my hosting, but at least I don't have to deal with the hassle of buying my email security from this provider and buying SSL from that provider. I can do all of it with one provider, and that one-stop shop concept that I was discussing about before. It still makes sense, guys? I see some of you like had a long night last night and are dozing off. But okay, let me know, right, if there's any questions directly in the audience. I have one question already. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about the fallback. So if I'm getting this solution integrated,
yeah,
and then I would need my server to be up and running, which is getting integrated to your service, where we are having that thing installed on your cloud, and our server goes down. So the fallback comes to the cloud. So how long would that be working and archiving all the mails?
I might not have been, so the question was about the fallback functionality that I was talking about before, so the fallback MX or the queuing topic that I discussed before. I might not have been very clear about it. It refers to incoming email, so if you change your MX records to point to our systems, email first goes to us. Once it's done filtering, it goes to the destination mail server. If the destination mail server is down, email first goes to us. We queue it until the destination mail server is up and running. So
the same thing applies to the outgoing also, or it is only pointer?
the same thing in a way applies to outgoing, but it's a detailed question, and I'd rather deal with it in private afterwards, because it goes into much detail, and then maybe the rest of us are leaving or. Bastards. um, yeah, let's discuss that in private afterwards. So I want to continue about the development of the plugins, etc., the add-ons. And I'm using us as an example here again. So we had this cool product, and our CTO, he's a real CTO, you know? And I'm sure some of you are like that. He's the die-hard technical guy that says, okay, I've got this cool spam filtering engine, but I'm not going to offer any web interface with it because, you know, users, they should figure that out. You know, I'm offering an API, and if you want any web interface to your clients, it shouldn't be necessary because the product works great, but if you do, then you're going to build it yourself. Now, that's our CTO. And then our marketing team and the sales team are like, yeah, but they're asking for blacklists and whitelists. Can we not offer some kind of interface? But before our CTO gives in, some initial clients are already building this and working with our API to start integrating some of the functionality in their own platforms, right? So this is the basis. People are playing around with our APIs and sharing this code with us. So, okay, our CTO thinks, yeah, maybe we should do a user interface, and maybe it would be good to somehow offer integration. So this was the basis, and then, okay, we're convincing our CTO that that is a great idea. We're trying to push him to indeed do this integration thing. And then he's like, okay, you know what, I have so much on my mind, let's outsource this, right? And I don't know if you guys tried working with the cPanel API before and tried to do some advanced tricks and stuff there. I would not be surprised that if you tried, you would run into a bug. And you know, if the bug would be on our end, it would be quick for us to fix it. But if there's a bug in the API of cPanel, you're trying to integrate with cPanel, then you kind of like stop there, right? I'm slightly off topic, but that is a very relevant point that I was making. But you know, if you're trying to outsource, you need an expert. You need an expert that knows ins and outs of cPanel. You need the ins and outs of our system. Try to find that. We tried, and it was, you know, if you guys think, oh, hey, that might be a nice and interesting business concept, it is. Because I think, especially, you know, with this whole integration and automation stream in the market, everyone wants to integrate, but there's very few parties that actually you can outsource this to. So our outsourcing adventure with cPanel stopped there because it was simply not possible. There were no experts that could do this for us. The APS platform of Parallels is the other, you know, big guy in the market when it comes to control panels for hosting providers like yourself. So Parallels has this whole APS concept, an APS platform for integrating and automating products with the Parallels products. Parallels did all the integrations themselves. So if you didn't want to pay Parallels, I don't know, quite a significant amount of money to do this integration for you, and with our margins, we're very price competitive. We simply didn't, you know, it wouldn't be a cost-effective venture for us to do this. We had to do it ourselves also. So we attempted outsourcing. For us, it didn't work. So then you come into DIY, do it yourself, and there the whole box thing comes into play because you're running into all these different frameworks and all these different systems that need to work one way or another together. And there, very importantly, you know, when I started the business, I was like, yes, an IT company, you know. I don't like people. So no more need for like sitting across the table with people and discussing things endlessly. You know, IT, I can do everything from behind my computer. No, that's not how this world works yet, at least. And having a strong network, having strong ties with your industry partners is extremely relevant, especially when it comes to things like integration. If there's a bug in cPanel, we can tell cPanel, and next month they fix it. If you guys go to cPanel, I don't know if you get to the first, second line of support. And the difference is that we have 50 clients or 100 clients or 300 clients of cPanel, and we say, okay, look, you know, I have 300 clients of you here that want to use our product, that are using our product, that are using you, and that want integration. Please solve it. And then they listen, and then they solve things. So, another marketing slide. References. References, these are a bunch of companies that switched to us from competing products. Here in the room, Excel Host is sitting right in the first line also. I'm going to talk, Samir is the CEO of ExcelHost, but I'm going to discuss a little bit more about opportunities you have already with working with ExcelHost, for example. But other examples of references are SiteGround. This integration, what does it really do? If you have cPanel and you install our free plugin into cPanel machine, you have different opportunities to do. And there is, you can see the configuration page, etc. If you would go there, you have the different opportunities. But what most people do is basically they just want to get rid of the spam problem in the cPanel machine. So they mass or bulk protect this cPanel machine. And by doing that, automatically all the domains present in the cPanel machine will get uploaded in our filtering platform. Automatically, the MX records are switched, so the filtering is activated. This saves huge manual things. If you want to update those MX records, etc. So all of that saves a lot of hassle already. Now the cool part is that also when you add or remove domains along your business growth, and you have some clients that leave, you have some new clients, if you add them to cPanel, automatically they will be added and removed to the filtering cluster. Automatically, again, the MX records will be changed, so the filtering gets activated, and automatically you empower your end clients, because on the lower half you see the end user screenshot of cPanel. They get an extra icon saying spam experts filtering. So if they click on it, they automatically logged into the control panel for their domain and can manage all the filter settings. They can view the quarantine. They can do a log search to find out what happened to a specific message, etc. So, in fact, if the end user is not too lazy, the web host here doesn't have to worry about anything anymore when it comes to email security. Problem solved. Now, so far I've been talking about integrating things from a kind of technical perspective, right? Saving you costs, saving you hassles, making sure all your systems are working together so you can focus your time on growing your business. A lot of our clients that's enough for a lot of our clients, because they say, okay, all the time and cost that we save is enough for us to pay spam experts a very modest fee to deal with the filtering. So the whole provisioning part is basically what I discussed so far. Now, there is a group of people that say, okay, look, the whole integration part is cool, but I want to charge our clients for it, right? I want to make money on this also. And especially if you're offering incoming filtering, outgoing filtering, and email archiving. Outgoing filtering is not something you're going to make money on, guys, because outgoing filtering is something you need to do to assure you have a clean network. Incoming filtering might be something that you can make money on. A lot of our clients, what they do, for example, is they offer incoming filtering for free. So at least the network is clean. At least there's no more spam in the inboxes of their clients. But they don't offer the clients the control panel access. So if a client comes to them and says, okay, hey, can I see what happened? Can I go to my quarantine? They say, sure. Pay us a couple of cents a month extra, and we activate the control panel for you. And in that way, they recover quite kind of the costs again for their investment in this whole process. But the whole billing then related to this offering of services is a whole different chapter. And to be honest, today, only one provider of control panels is really doing a great job at that, I would say. That's Parallels, and specifically the Parallels automation product, or Parallels business automation, or operations automation. I'm getting confused every day by so many different terms for basically the same product they are offering. But it's basically a cPanel, but then with billing integrated, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but then besides the automatic provisioning via the platform, they can also automatically bill their clients for the services that are being provisioned. Now cPanel, what did they do in the summer? They bought, I think, 49%, or at least a large stake in WHMCS. And this is a clear reaction to the launch of the Parallels automation platform, which took when was it, a year or 2 years ago? Time flies these days. But cPanel is moving there. And again, a sign to you guys that you guys should be moving there also. You guys should become that one-stop shop. You guys should be automating your business and adding these extra services to your portfolio and scale. Because scale is the magic word. If you can't scale, if you're too busy, tied up in trying to manage all your services and platforms, you're going to be small. Maybe you get lucky to be taken over, or you just run out of business at some point. So the whole billing thing is still, let's say, under process. Spam experts are ourselves using W8MCS, so we have a full integration up and running. I know Samir is using W8MCS and has an integration up and running, but it's not, so an integration also with our systems, but it's not a one-stop thing yet. There's an external party. Again, if you think about this progress of add-on or plugin development, there's an external party that started playing for us with it. An external party developed an add-on for W8MCS with our systems. The next thing is that we try to outsource this. We will fail. And the next thing to that is, again, that we will do it ourselves. So hopefully our CTO learned, and he will do that sooner than later ourselves. And actually, we are working on it already to have an automated plugin for W8MCS also. Talking about billing and automatically, provisioning, but also making money. Marco Houwen is the CEO of LuxCloud. LuxCloud is a very rapidly growing cloud platform that offers all kinds of services to you. It's really targeting the hosting market also. So as a host, you can go to LuxCloud and you can buy the hosting from them, but you can buy also spam experts from them and Open Exchange, and I don't know what else services you can buy from them. But the nice thing Marco Houwen said in his quote is that, besides solving the spam problem for their clients, they managed to grow a large new stream of revenue from selling our product and bundling our product with mail platforms that they were already selling to their clients. So all of it together, there's a lot of takeaways that you can take home from integration. We're getting to the end of the presentation here. So what we discussed is that there are very clear developments in the market, right? Very clear signs to you guys that you need to jump on this wave or jump on this wagon rather sooner than later. It's in a way hard to outsource, so probably you're going to end up doing it yourself, but as a web host, you don't want to be dealing with all of this yourself unless you have the philosophy of, never outsource anything and do everything yourself, okay? But then again, yeah, you're going to outsource to external parties that are doing it themselves, like spam experts. Also, if you want to stay up to date, I didn't really mention that on the previous slide, but if you have the philosophy of doing it yourself, one thing to keep in mind there is that cPanel comes up with new versions quite often. Spam Experts has weekly release cycles. So if you want to keep your own integration up to date with these different systems that you're working with, it requires some resources to stay at par with all the new developments of these resources, right? Again, I don't know if you want to be spending your time on that. So there's opportunities. There's opportunities to attract new clients. There's opportunities to make more money of existing clients. There's opportunities to reduce internal resource costs and basically save a lot of time for yourself that you can spend on growing your own business. There's plenty of partners out there that you can work with. Yeah, and that is not respective of any infrastructure. Some people wonder, they come to me, yeah, your talk was nice, but I'm a really small web host and I don't really have my own infrastructure, so I'm basically buying my infrastructure from this client and then have some service there, etc. The nice part is that most of these services that you can upsell to your clients, they already have plugins with any platform. If you have your own infrastructure, if you're buying some cloud service from an external party, it's not really not too relevant. It tends to work with any existing platform out there. Money talks and bullshit walks. I thought it was a funny slide. Now, this is one of those things that I want to talk to you also about, of course, for spam experts. A whole nice story, but maybe you think, yeah, I just don't have the money to buy for it. I would ask you to review again how much money it costs you now to deal with it yourself and where you want to go with your business at all. Maybe if you don't have enough money, maybe your price point is too low. But the nice part of Spam Experts is that we fitted our business model to the hosting market. So we said no limits on users, no limits on mailboxes. It's domain-based pricing and very affordable. If you look at the hosted cloud, which is basically running via our hardware, or if you look at the local cloud, which is deployed on your own hardware, you're talking about a few cents per domain per month. If you look at what Postini asks, it's, I think, $1 roughly per user per month. So if you think, okay, I'm going to implement Spam Experts and I want to offer this to my clients, ask 50 cents a user a month. You still make, I don't know, 40 cents is like 80% margin on this product if you want to make money on it. So there's really a large opportunity for you here to make a lot of money and solve your problems. Thanks to Niels in the back, because I think he made this slide with a previous presentation, or someone of the marketing team made this slide. Niels is our sales manager. This is the Spam Experts McDonald's takeaway menu, if you will. So we're specialized for web hosts. There's a veggie version which doesn't require much. You know, vegetarians tend to be slimmer, etc. So if you want to run a slim and thin infrastructure model and you don't have too much servers yourself, you can use the hosted cloud version. If you like meat, like myself, you like to have your own machines, you like to anyway, I'm not going to go there. So you might want to use the more powerful solution of a local cloud system where you have, Samir has the local cloud product also, where you have full control, you have the admin level of the cluster, etc. I didn't mention it, by the way, on the previous slide, but if you have, say, 80 domains and you actually want to resell our systems, if you look at our price sheets, you think, costly, I don't know if I can make money on that. A partner of us, like Samir, has a larger license. So he pays us less per domain. So he can offer, well, theoretically we could do it, but then again we would be competing with Samir and we don't want to compete with Samir. He could offer our products at a much lower fee than we can, or that we want to do it. So if you guys are maybe on the smaller end of web host, talk with Samir. Samir can solve your problems for you with our products and still offer you a competitive rate, probably. So we have other partners, and I think to that also, low calories. I don't know if that applies to McDonald's, but at least applies to Spam Experts. It's affordable, guys. It's ready to eat, so it's all plug and play. It's a managed solution, and it can scale to any resource size, whether you have 80 domains or 300,000 domains. Our solution works with any setup. Thank you guys for paying attention. If you now think, okay, this was actually a nice opportunity for us, go talk to the guys at ResellerClub. We're talking with them, but any voice that talks to them and says, hey guys, you need the Spam Expert solution, that helps us, of course, with getting the doors open. Yes, and thank you for being here, and thank you for the opportunity of letting me speak. I want to thank also the organizers, because it's a great event. Thank you so much.